Super Mario Brothers, the game that started the whole Super Mario Brothers series. Well, I guess if you put it that way, you could argue it was Donkey Kong, but that was very rude. You should not interrupt me. Wait a sec. How did you just... Hey guys, TMG here. Today we shall discuss Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I know, pretty crazy. I don't do a lot of reviews, so this is pretty special. So let's get into it. Super Mario Brothers defined the platforming genre and set the standards for Mario games yet to come. It solidified the NES in people's hearts and is by some credited to have saved the gaming industry. Today we are here to look at Super Mario Bros. As a game, not just to appreciate it for what it did, but to look at it from the standards of fun that we use to review a game. Spoiler alert, it's a very good game. Now, despite being the first game in the Super Mario Bros. Series, it seems like everything that makes a Mario game has been figured out. What is it that makes a Mario game, you may ask? Well, if you ask me, it's tight controls, platforming, and plain old fun. The controls and physics have already been figured out. Mario does seem to slide a bit more when doing things like turning around, and does take a bit longer to accelerate, but the game is obviously built around this, and the controls feel very good and satisfying to use. Now, there's one thing in this game not carried over to its sequels, which is the inability to go backwards. Now, I have seen a lot of people make a big deal about this, but if you ask me, I couldn't care less. It isn't really a problem unless you off-screen an item or a vine you wanted to climb, and it is pretty easy to adjust to. You will get used to it after a while. Now, Super Mario Bros. Is a fairly simple game. Now, let me rephrase that. It is simple compared to its many sequels. Super Mario Bros. Has 4 level themes: ground, underground, underwater, and castle. That may seem like a lot, but compared to its many sequels, it isn't really. Super Mario Bros. Also has a very strong enemy variety, with enemies such as Goombas, Koopas, Buzzy Beetles, Lakitus, Spinies, Piranha Plants, Hammer Brothers, Bloopers, Cheep Cheeps, and Bullet Bills, and I guess you could throw Bowser in there too. This is still pretty impressive to this day, despite how much more the sequels did. Now, despite its simplicity compared to its sequels, I find it to be just as fun of an experience. I actually think Super Mario Bros. Benefits from its simplicity. Sometimes games can seem overwhelming because of their intense variety, especially to newcomers. I've noticed this to be a problem in the Mario series, especially with newcomers to video games. Now, I know that sounds crazy, considering that most Mario games would seem like they'd be a great first game for anyone, but it's true. Super Mario Bros. Benefits by being a simpler Mario game, where you don't need to think too hard about anything, you can just relax, let go, and have fun. Because of this, it tends to be a more approachable Mario game. Sometimes what we need is some simple fun at its purest. A game is not fun because of its variety and complications, but because it is fun to play. Now, variety can be important, especially in longer games, but Super Mario Bros. Is a fairly short game, where simplicity is much appreciated. Now, Super Mario Bros. Is a short game. I can beat in about 20 to 30 minutes, and with warps in about 10. Now, despite what you may think, this is not a con. It is a plus. In my life, I'm incredibly busy. The only reason I have made this video is because I have spring break right now. Games like Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World are great games, but they take a time commitment. Either I gotta come back to Super Mario World later, or sit there for a few more hours playing Super Mario Bros. 3. Super Mario Bros. Being a game I can sit down and beat in my 10 minutes of free time makes it a full experience I can capture in one sitting. Sometimes when you have a long game, you get into it first, but you eventually get burned out. The only problem is you can't quit. Why, you may ask? Because you couldn't possibly quit after playing for so long, so you would just push on, burning more energy. No, I'm not saying long games are bad. All I'm saying is that we need a short game like Super Mario Bros. Once in a while. Now there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, which is the incredible music. You have the bright and optimistic ground theme, the darker and mysterious underground theme, the relaxing water theme, and the intense castle theme. Almost everyone has heard all of these songs at least once in their lives because of how iconic they are. Just take a listen. Now it's time for Silly Stories with TMG, the part of the show where TMG tells us a silly story. TMG here, it's time for a silly story with me, TMG, that's right. Once upon a time there was a TMG that was, let's say a foot shorter than I am, and existed a few years ago. No, more than a few years ago. Who grows a foot in a few years? That's a lot. Maybe I'm just weird. But they went on eBay and they ordered a copy of Super Mario Brothers. And a week later, guess what came in the mail? Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. Oh, wait a second. That TMG did not order Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. They ordered Super Mario Brothers. So they went to the seller and they said, "Hey, seller, why'd you send me Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt? I wanted Super Mario Brothers." And they said, "Oopsies, I made a mistake. How about you keep that and I'll send you the one you were supposed to get." So then a week later in the mail, guess what came? Super Mario Brothers. And then I had two. And I was very happy because I had Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers. But then a week later, this TMG went to the thrift store, and guess what was there? That's right, Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. So now he had 3. And he thought, wow, this is amazing. I don't think you can ever have too many copies of Super Mario Brothers. And you know what? I think he's right. So that is the end of Silly Stories with TMG. Bye-bye. This has been Silly Stories with TMG. So what's the final verdict with Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo Entertainment System? Well, it is incredibly fun. Super Mario Bros. And its sequel, which I hope to talk about soon, are the only 2 games that I play on a weekly basis. And no, I don't have nostalgia for this game. In fact, I was born during the Wii era. If you like other Mario games and you haven't played this one yet, you are very much missing out. TMG out. Bye bye.